M- My my name is Stefan, and I have cerebral palsy. Today we are going to talk about the Victorian literature unit tag that was from Scallydandling about the books initiated. Yes. So, yeah. So, I am going to talk about the 9 questions that she asked all of us who are in this growing community about Victorian literature, about different types of friends and communities around Victorian literature. Yes. Well, I am going to start with the first experience of Victorian literature, and I have to say, like almost all boys in Sweden, it is Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson for me. That was the initial entrance to the Victorian literature. But at the time, I of course did not know that there was such a thing as Victorian literature. I live in Sweden, and we were of course aware of Queen Victoria and the Empire and the Industrial Revolution and stuff like that, but we weren't involved in the naming of the eras, like every other country has. In British literature, it is Elizabethan, Georgian, Jacobean, and Victorian, and of course we have Regency period too. We in Sweden don't have that kind of eras, periods in 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 our cultural history. We talk about the Baroque, the Renaissance, the different types of that kind of stuff. Okay, so the conclusion of this is that I wasn't aware of that of the name Victorian literature until I became grown up and started to read about history in the universities here in Stockholm. Well, okay. The second question is, have a Victorian book ever brought me into tears? I have a very soft spot when it comes to animal cruelty and animal welfare. So when I read books that have animal cruelty and humans who are cruel to animals, I can cry out really much. And it is about, well, and one of them who have brought me into tears is Black Beauty by Anne Sewell. She actually wrote that book to in order to get attention, to bring attention to animal welfare in general, but also specifically horses, which she loved. But there is a tragic story about Anne Sewell as well. She was ill, and she didn't get the she died before she got the full recognition about her work. She died only a couple of months after the book has been published. Okay, so that's double tragedy here. Are there any people who have played a significant role in my journey into Victorian literature? Well, I can't say really that in my journey into Victorian literature specifically, I have had any significant people in here. But when it comes to reading in general, it is very it is very I have to say that my late parents did a wonderful job in order to encourage me into reading and in the long run writing. Yes. So my parents, I have to say, have had a significant role in my journey into reading at all. As a whole, yes. Well, my favorite film or TV adaptation of a Victorian book, and are there anyone that I want to see be made? Well, that particular one, I can tell you straight away, is the Granada production of Sherlock Holmes with that came to Sweden in the 80s, and yes, that one is a favorite for me, who sparked an interest in the Sherlock Holmes story too, and it is a lifelong interest for me now. Yes. Well, when it comes to are there anyone that I want to see be made? And yes, there is one. I really would like to see be made if if it if it doesn't have done yet. I don't know really what comes to Sweden or not, but a big production of Darwin's travel on board the Beagle around the world I would like to see be made, produced, really much. Yes. That one is. And now I come to a question that I think it is very difficult to answer. It is which character in Victorian literature resembles you the most? Well, I really don't know but no, I probably could say that in a joking manner that I can be like Wooster in Jeeves and Wooster, but I don't think I am that stupid, but I live a sort of similar life like him, but no, I have to digress on that, actually. Favorite moment, scene, or line in Victorian literature? I have one scene in well, I have to say that the that one was difficult because I really but I have one scene in which um, in which Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson meet for the first time at the at the morgue at the morgues in 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 a hospital. That scene is probably one of my highlights in 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 Victorian literature. Does any Victorian literature intimidate me? Well, I don't think any literature intimidates me, actually. No. What tip would I give for a reader who is early in the Victorian journey? I would say if you if the person are are intimidated by the sheer volumes of 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 the story, it's I can I can I can I can ask I can tell them to I can tell them to start with the short stories, like the memoirs of Sherlock Holmes, for instance, or the why not try to read some Oscar Wilde stories. They are always easy to read and also quite funny, I should say. My most recommended book in the Victorian era, well, that one depends on what kind of mood the person I am going to recommend books to. But I would say that maybe you can try try, if you are in for some funny stories, then you can try out 3 Men in a Boat by Jerome K. Jerome, or if you want some books about where you can really cry out, then of course Black Beauty, it comes to my mind. And if you are into action and stuff like that, then Sherlock Holmes is my pick number 1 in that field. Okay, and now, and it was one more, not question, but to exercise. But I am not a very good fan of tagging people around to do things. So everyone who is who feels they can provide some insight in the and also want to do it, feel free to do this Victorian literature journey tag. Okay, and I thank Ross from Scallydandling about the book for this idea to, in order to get our community more together and get to know each other more. Thank you and happy reading.